Welcome to a new episode of the K&A Football Podcast. Today, Austin and I will be talking about the news of the week, and we'll be giving our preseason awards picks. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive, never-seen-before content. This is K&A Football.
All right, Caden, so last week on Monday, Sue L. Robinson finally handed down her decision on Watson's suspension. You'll remember in the last episode, I said that I don't think Watson would get suspended because it had been so long, and here was preseason right around the corner, and there's no talk of it anymore. But in the end, she finally handed down a 6-game suspension. So before we get into the latest on his suspension, what is your thoughts on the on 6 games?
On the original 6 games, you said. Like most NFL fans that aren't Browns fans that I've heard from, I think that the original 6 games was not a lot for everything that he's done. I know that he was found innocent and all these things, but I mean, obviously they still found him guilty enough to, like, if he was fully innocent, wouldn't they give him 0 games and not 6 games? So clearly they found him guilty in some portion to give him some games. And maybe a little bit of bias right here, but Calvin Ridley, wide receiver for the Falcons, was suspended for a whole season this year because when he was not playing for the team, he bet on 6 games. And he bet like a total of like $1,000 on his team to win when he wasn't playing. And just for that, he got a year suspension, which I do get it. The NFL has a very strict policy on gambling and sports gambling for your teams and stuff, so I get it. But I know that there was a lot of backlash from people saying that they think the 6 games is really short and small for something as severe as what Watson did. And then they bring up the Ridley thing, which a year for gambling and then 6 games for whatever you want to call it, sexual assault sort of, I guess. And then also Josh Gordon, a while ago, he got like multiple seasons for doing drugs over and over. But I mean, drugs is also bad, but I mean, I think 6 games is really short. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree. 6 games is pretty short. There's talks of the full year. There's talks of he'd get 8 games. I had heard all the way down to 4-game suspension. I feel like 6 is, I mean, I feel like it's short, but I'm not going to be upset with it. And then obviously on Wednesday, the NFL appealed. They want more games. Obviously they're going to push for the year that they wanted. What do you think about their appeal?
I figured it was going to happen. I mean, they really, 6 games, they were facing a lot of like criticism from people being like, oh my, like, you're going to let this guy go play after only 6 games. So I was expecting it to happen. And when it first happened, I was a little, I guess, worried because I guess the way that I saw it was, I know that Watson will sue once they appeal and all that stuff. And so my thoughts were the NFL would appeal, Watson would sue, and then it'd go to court, and the court would last who knows how long. It would last a little while. And as this is all going on, it'll creep into the season, and as it's going on to the season, then Watson can play until it's all settled. And week 1, as you know, is Panthers-Browns, and if it creeps into the season and Watson plays week 1, I really don't want the Panthers to have to play Deshaun Watson. He's a pretty good quarterback, so that was my initial worry. But then I was talking with some people yesterday, and they said the way that it is like, since the NFL appealed, it's not Deshaun Watson's appeal. No matter what, like, the NFL has the power. From what I heard, if I understood that correctly, and so I think if it's not settled by then, he'll still have the 6 games from Sue Robinson or whatever her name was. Mm-hmm. So he'll have those 6 games if it's not settled by then. And if it is settled by then he'll have the full year that the NFL appeals to. So no matter what, I don't think he'll be playing week 1, so that makes me feel a little bit better.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. No, but I think, the NFL they made themselves look better by not letting the 6 games go.
Yeah, 6 games, as we said, was short, so
Mm-hmm.
it would have looked bad on the NFL's part if they didn't appeal. Who knows? I don't think they actually care. I think that it's like Watson's a big name player. He's a top 10 at least, top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, people watch him.
He's good, right? He makes money, so I
Mhm.
think all they care about in the end is the money, and it's just a PR move on their part to appeal to make themselves not look
right.
like they don't care. 'Cause
Right.
They don't, but who knows?
They just care about how they look. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
So continuing on with the Browns news, on the day that we're recording this, August 7th, Kareem Hunt is the 7th.
It is. I had to make sure you were right.
Kareem Hunt was a little upset with the Cleveland Browns because he didn't get his contract extension that he wanted. And so he requested a trade, which the Browns have denied. You were saying earlier that, now he's not going to play for the Browns and whatever else. I personally think that he'll play for us. He'll play this season. He'll try his best to prove why he's on the team and why he deserves a contract next year. So I think that he'll play for us. I think they'll probably do really well too, and we'll continue to have the most dominant backfield in football.
Right.
You were also saying that you've heard talks of Jimmy G for Kareem Hunt, just straight up 1-for-1, which, like I told you, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Not that Jacoby Brissett's a bad quarterback, but he just doesn't have skill set. He's obviously not a starting QB. Jimmy G is. He's not the greatest, but, he'd be fine to hold us over till Watson gets back from his 6-game suspension. What do you think about Kareem?
I think Kareem Hunt is a really good running back. I think if he's on another team that's not the Browns and his competition is Nick Chubb, I think he'd be definitely like the lead back for that team and a really like a top 15 running back in the league. I think that like with him and Nick Chubb are a great 1-2 duo, and I think he knows that if he goes elsewhere and doesn't have to battle against Nick Chubb for the starting role, he can get a lot more a lot more money, lot like get out there. So I see both sides. I see Kareem Hunt wanting to go out there and get that, but I also see the Browns like we have a great duo right now with you and Nick Chubb. And so I see the Browns saying like, here, you stay here for a year, prove that you like have your best season, go out there and prove to everyone like, oh yeah, you are amazing back. Like, yeah. And after this season, sure, go test free agency, go leave, go do whatever. But at the same time, you wonder if you're the Browns, if that does happen, Kareem Hunt plays this season, he leaves after this year, and you got nothing for him. So I see both sides where the Browns want to have him for this season, and like, yeah, have the good duo. But I also see them wanting to be able to get something for him, at least a couple of draft picks or a mid-tier player like a Jimmy Garoppolo, like we said. But the more and more I think about it, the more I think with it being this late in training camp too, I think he'll stay and just play for the season and then try to leave next season in free agency. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to remember too that like while he may want to be the lead back somewhere else, which obviously he's good enough to do, he did it in Kansas City, but the Browns was his first team back after.
Yeah, you got to remember,
right?
The Browns are the only reason he's in the NFL right now because they were the only team willing to pick him up after the video got out of him kicking that woman in the hotel or whatever. So
yeah.
If it wasn't for the Browns, he would be out of the league. And
right. So the Browns gave him his second chance. He's proved to be a good back still.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for wanting to go somewhere else, but.
And if he does leave, I think the Browns will be all right. They got Ernest Johnson.
Yeah.
He's their next one. And then they drafted Jerome Ford out of Cincinnati. So I think they'll be perfectly fine at the running back position. Ernest Johnson proved last year in the one game
against the Raiders. Was that the Raiders
It was
game?
either the Raiders or I think it was the Broncos game when everyone was hurt. That he can be a solid backup running back too. So I think they'll be fine.
He'll be okay. Also, I think it was last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Miami lost their 2023 first round pick and their 2024 third round pick, and their owner was suspended till October 17th.
I don't know what that does.
Fined $1.5 million. Who knows what that does? Your owner gets suspended. What does he do anyway?
He can't sit up in the press box.
Right.
Bummer.
Oh no. Real disappointment there. But they were, charged for all of that because they, quote, like, what was it? Tampered with the integrity of the game or something.
Well, yeah, right. They tried. So what came out is that when Tom Brady was still under contract with the Patriots, Miami tampered, which is like while a player's still under contract with the team, they go talk to that player and try to woo them over to their team and be like, yo, like free agency, come here. Like they give them their sales pitch before they're legally allowed to do that. So they did that with Tom Brady when he was still on New England. And then I heard they did it again, like his first or second year in Tampa. And then he signed an extension, like a 2-year extension a year later or whatever. And then I also heard they did it with Sean Payton when he was still in New Orleans. And there was rumors that he was going to leave the Saints and like retire or whatever. And there was rumors of him, of the Dolphins tampering with him. I just think it's a little funny from Miami that you've tampered with Tom Brady, the GOAT quarterback, twice. And he ultimately was like, no, like, screw you guys, and went to the other Florida team. And has already went and won a Super Bowl there. And instead of getting the GOAT quarterback, you end up with Tua. Which, I mean, it's a pretty big drop-off, so.
Pretty big drop-off. But yeah, I mean, we had heard rumors that Tom was going to come back and play for Miami. And there's still rumors that, maybe he'll play past this year and go to Miami because Miami was trying to offer him like stake in the team.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Like he would have like stake in ownership.
Really?
So that was like their incentive was like, you'll come play for us, we'll pay you, and you get to be one of the owners. So I mean, sweet deal for Tom if he were to take it, but now Miami kind of got caught. Who knows what else they did that the NFL just didn't catch.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then there was also they were paying, or it's alleged that they were paying their coach to lose games for them
so that they could tank and get
better
a higher
picks.
Pick in the draft where they got Tua, who obviously didn't turn out great so far. But
somebody tells me they didn't need to pay him to lose the games. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's another big reason why the owner got suspended and fined a lot, not just for tampering, which is also a big deal, but paying your owner to lose games is that's messing with the integrity of the game or whatever the NFL said. So, but then again, suspending an owner, I don't really know what that does. I mean, big woo, and then finding them $5,000. That's a couple quarters. So if you can buy an NFL team, you can have a $5,000 fine. I don't think it's a big deal for them.
It's $1.5 million.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little bit more.
Mine.
They fined him $1.5 million.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's still not that much for them, but that's a lot more than what I said. Okay, so we're getting closer. As we get closer to the season, we had the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game last week. We're inching closer to the season, so I think now would be a good time for our what should I call it? Before season, was it
preseason predictions?
Sure.
Yeah.
For the awards for the season, so that's MVP, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, offensive player of the year. So you want to go first? Who's your pick to win MVP for this season?
Well, for MVP of the NFL, I think that it's, they say that you should never bet against Tom Brady, but I don't think Tom Brady will win the MVP. Testing fate, betting against Tom, but I think that these last couple years, especially this last decade, has proven to be Aaron Rodgers' decade. So I think that Aaron Rodgers will continue his trend of being the most valuable player in the NFL.
And win 3 in a row.
I think he can do it. I think he's good. I think he's good enough. It's boring.
It is boring.
Pick. It'd be boring if it happened, but it'd also be kind of cool. So he's already guaranteed a spot in the Hall of Fame once he retires.
Oh, yeah.
But it kind of put the cherry on top for when he eventually calls it quits.
Yeah, I see that really hard. With Devontae Adams leaving the Packers this season, and he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers can't just throw it to Devontae Adams anymore. So I see it. I don't really see that happening, but it would be boring, like you said. But it would also be like we can't really hate it because we're watching like greatness in front of us. But I mean, yeah, you never know. My pick's a little more fun. It's a young guy. I've said this before. I think in like the first episode or the second episode, I have really high hopes for this team this year, and I think the MVP for this season will be Justin Herbert. And the thing about the podcast is, at the end of the year, we can come back and see how wrong spot on accurate we each were, or dead on wrong we were. So, but I really think that the Chargers this season the Chargers as a team, I think, will do amazing. And then from all that success, Justin Herbert will greatly improve as well. And I think the defense improved, which will have him on the field more, and he's just going to continue to get better. I've seen videos where he's gotten so big and strong. He's
a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's gone to the weight room a lot. I've seen pictures where he looks massive now. So I don't know. I really like Herbert this year.
Yeah, him and Mac Jones had great improvement.
I have seen Mac Jones. Yeah.
They were kind of like pudgy the last season, and now they're like absolutely ripped. It's impressive. So, moving on past MVP, got our picks down for that. What do you think of the rookies?
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
I think that it will be a wide receiver.
I agree.
I don't think that there's great quarterbacks. I mean, I feel like only one quarterback rookie will play at all this year, and it'll be a little bit of a Steelers guy. Pickett. Small
Kenny
hands Pickett, yeah. And I don't think he's very good, so I don't think he'll win it. I think it will be a wide receiver, and there's a lot of options that I like. I really like Drake London out of Atlanta. I think that he has a very little competition to battle against. It's just him and Kyle Pitts that Mariota can really only throw it to, so I think he'll get a lot of targets and catches and touchdowns, so I think he has a really good shot to win. And I also really like Treylon Burks out of he's on the Titans. He got drafted by the Titans. They traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles to trade up to this pick, which was
We'll see if it pans out.
Yeah,
A.J. Brown's a great receiver.
You traded A.J. Brown and traded up to this spot and took Treylon Burks to ultimately be your A.J. Brown. So and they also I think like Drake London, he doesn't have a lot of competition. It's just him and Robert Woods and Derrick Henry. But I think I like him, and then I like Drake London. So if I had to pick anyone, as of right now, I'm saying Drake London. As much as he's on the Falcons, and I don't really want him to be amazing, I think it'll be Drake London.
Yeah, they're good picks. I think that Offensive Rookie of the Year will be a receiver, and they will be in the NFC South.
Right.
I like the wide receiver for the Saints out of Ohio State, Chris Olave. I think he'll win it. I mean, Michael Thomas did, become unhurt these last couple weeks. So, he does have a much more stiff competition for getting passes.
Right.
But when he was at Ohio State, he was one of the best route runners in college football and had one of the best careers in college. So I think he'll do great. I think your division is a little bit stacked with good receivers other than your team.
Oh, well, okay. My DJ Moore is pretty good.
No, you didn't pick him.
Yeah, I could definitely see Olave winning. I mean, he was amazing at Ohio State. But like you said, I think his competition in New Orleans is really, what'd you say, stiff? I mean, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is really good. Like, he's got Michael Thomas coming back. He'll have Alvin Kamara, albeit he doesn't get suspended.
Right.
And then on top of that, I mean, I know Drake London's got Marcus Mariota throwing him the ball, but he's got Jameis Winston throwing him the ball, who, I mean, he'll be throwing it to the defense just as much as he's throwing it to the offense. So
yeah, you're one to talk Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield this year, 1 and 2.
Hey, I didn't go pick a Panthers rookie to win Rookie of the Year, but
It's true.
yeah.
How about Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think it's not really any question. I think there's only one.
We're gonna have the same guy.
Yeah, there's only one really right answer, and I think it's gonna be Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah,
out
obviously.
of Detroit. He went to Michigan. I didn't know much about him last college football season until
the Ohio State
the
game.
Buckeyes played Michigan, and then we
and then he kind
had
of
nightmares.
stomped all over us.
Yeah, I think he got like 25 sacks and like 14 tackles for loss and like.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the Jaguars, if they really messed up for picking Trayvon Walker over him in his years at Georgia, he's had 4 sacks in his whole career. Like, I don't understand how that can go first overall when
I don't either.
the player who went second literally had like 4 sacks in one game against Ohio State. So I mean,
yeah, Hutchinson got snubbed for the first overall pick, but I think he'll get. Yeah, he'll win Defensive Rookie of the Year for sure.
Right,
He's
and also
gonna be a
extra
force to be
motivation
reckoned
for
with.
not being picked first. But
Yeah,
it also could be a blessing that he didn't go to the Jaguars.
that's true. His career will not go down the toilet.
I
now.
mean,
but not that Detroit's much better.
Yeah, but okay. The next award, we'll say Defensive Player of the Year.
Whew. Defensive Player of the Year is a tough one for me. It's tough. I'm gonna go with Denzel Ward.
Oh,
Not just because I'm a Browns fan and an Ohio State fan, but I think that he is a great cornerback. I think that he'll greatly improve this year on top of his already fantastic season last year. So I like him for Defensive Player of the Year.
that is really.
It's bold.
That is very bold.
It's bold.
If he does become the
It's hard for cornerbacks.
It is very. That's what I
to
was
win
gonna
Defensive
say.
Player of the Year or any award at all, or to be recognized as a
Right.
good cornerback, because realistically, it's just, who's the? I'm blanking on his name. The Cowboys.
Diggs.
Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a good cornerback in the sense that he gets picks. So that's the only reason you know his name.
He's
but
not.
other than that, he gets cooked all the time.
Right. He does get cooked.
Right, but he gets the picks, and that's what
Yeah,
people know
that's
him
all
for.
people. Right.
So realistically, it's like if you don't know who a cornerback is, that's probably because they're locking down the receivers and you just never hear about them.
Exactly.
So that's why it's hard for them to win. But I think that he'll have a great year.
Right. Like the only corner that I can remember winning Defensive Player of the Year, at least like since I've been a football fan, was Stefan Gilmore a couple years ago for the Patriots. In that year,
Yeah.
It's not like he went crazy and just got a bunch of interceptions and all. It's just like he was locking up his guys. Like you'd never hear of his guys getting touchdowns or getting catches. Like he was completely locked down. Like you put him on someone and they're not doing anything. But like if you have a corner and you're not hearing about them, that's a good thing. Like you don't want to hear about your corners because 99% of the time when you're hearing about a corner, it's so-and-so gave up a touchdown here. Oh, so-and-so got mossed here. Like you don't want that's why I think it's really hard for a corner to win an award like that because they don't get the recognition that like a defensive end or a linebacker would get.
Yeah.
But
offensive.
Oh, hold on. I didn't say my defensive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. I completely forgot about that too. I think that kind of like you did with the whole Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the same as it was last year, and I think it'll be T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I think
he's good.
he's very good. Last season he was hurt for a couple games. He missed like 2 or 3 games or 4 games.
Yeah.
He missed something around that range, and he still tied the NFL sack record that was previously held by I don't know.
Who knows? It doesn't matter.
He tied the sack record by playing less games. So,
less. I mean, he played like 1 less game because the season was extended 1 week
right.
last year. So, but he still did miss the 2 or 3 games being hurt. So with those 2 or 3 games being healthy, he probably would have broke the sack record.
Yes. I think if he's healthy this season, I think he'll definitely win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, Myles Garrett's definitely up there too.
Yeah.
Like I said, like defensive linemen, linebackers, they have really good shots at winning the award because they get all the stats and the praise and the sacks and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I think TJ Watt's
Good pick. Boring pick.
boring pick, but yeah.
It'll probably become more true than Denzel Ward.
I'd love to say it's going to be like Brian Burns on the Panthers, but
Yeah, you would like to say that.
I don't think it'll happen, but we'll see.
Offensive player of the year.
Offensive player of the year. I would say Cooper Kupp, but that's again really boring, and I don't want to have two back-to-back boring things. So I'm gonna say another wide receiver, which I think a lot of times it is receivers. I remember it was Michael Thomas,
Yeah.
like in 3 years ago, and then last year was Cooper Kupp,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So,
So.
I think this year it'll be Jamar Chase from the
Oh,
Bengals. I really like
interesting.
the Bengals this year too. Not as much as the Chargers, but I think they got an upgraded offensive line. Burrow's still a beast, and he's gonna keep getting better. And Jamar Chase last year was a rookie, so he's gonna have the whole lot. Like
Yeah.
he'll be better his second year. They got the chemistry even more. I think he'll explode this year. I think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Offensive player.
Offensive Player of the Year, right?
Yeah.
Not a rookie.
Anymore. He did still get snubbed on his Madden rating though.
He did. What is he, like an 82?
87.
That's
Which
terrible.
is like so low for how good he is.
Right. Like I saw he was ranked 15th.
Yeah, he's
Which-
at least top 5 in his position. So
I saw
that's
he was below.
disrespectful.
He was below Adam Thielen and
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett and a bunch of like.
Bunch of nobodies.
Nah, I mean
Not nobodies, but like they're not as good as he is
right.
by any means.
I think he's like top 5.
Like you said, Cooper Kupp would be a great pick for offensive player of the year, but I'm gonna say Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another boring pick because it's like, yeah, obviously he's a great offensive player, and as long as the Titans do well, he'll do well. He missed a couple games last year and still was like
One of the
rushing
leading
leader.
rushers, right?
So it makes sense. I like him. And then finally, comeback player of the year.
Yeah, comeback player of the year. Which before the show, me and Austin were naming the awards that we'll have to name, and comeback player of the year came up, and we realized that neither of us really know how you can be eligible for that. I know like you have to have an injury the year before,
Yeah.
and then come back this year and play, like obviously do good. So we pulled up the NFL comeback player of the year betting odds. We're not betting. We're just like, I'm going to list these players so we know who to choose from. So there's Derrick Henry, Jameis Winston, Christian McCaffrey, Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Chase Young, Saquon Barkley, Mitchell Trubisky. That doesn't make sense.
Whatever.
Michael Thomas, Marcus Mariota, J.K. Dobbins, Allen Robinson. He wasn't hurt either, so I don't really know what this award. Juju, Drew Lock, Travis Etienne, Cam Akers, Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, and Daniil Hunter. Those are like the top, like, I don't know. Oh, well.
Hey, good job, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie. All right, so
Great work, Debbie.
who's
Yeah,
your
those are some
pick
great
for
odds.
comeback player? There's some more at the top, but
Okay, so my pick off of this list, because like you said, I wouldn't really
Yeah,
know
right.
what the criteria for comeback player of the year is. But if these are the betting odds, I like two guys more than the rest of these.
Baker Mayfield.
No, not Baker Mayfield. No. I like two guys out of the rest of these, both from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins, Chase Young.
Mhm.
I thought Chase Young was going to be absolutely dominant last year, which, then he got hurt, so.
I mean, he was until he got hurt.
Right,
but-
exactly. So I think I like his odds to be comeback player of the year. And J.K. Dobbins, because I really believed that he was going to come out of Ohio State, go to the Ravens, and then absolutely run over everyone else that he plays against. Which then he tore his ACL in the preseason, and so did every other Ravens running back.
Right.
So I like both of them. I think at the end it'll be Chase Young. I think that he's going to be the better player out of the two of them. So I think that he'll win comeback player of the year.
Right. I saw J.K. Dobbins. I honestly forgot he existed until I saw him on this list 10 seconds ago. But I would love for J.K. Dobbins to get it. I mean, played for Ohio State.
Yep.
Even when he was on Ohio State, I thought he was good, but I didn't think he was great. Like when I thought of great Ohio State players, I thought of Chase Young. I thought of
Yeah.
Zeke. I thought of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I always saw him as a very good beneficiary of amazing offensive line, good holes, and then
Yeah.
he just run through them. Like I think he's a good running back, but I would love to be wrong on this. I would love for J.K. Dobbins to have a great season, but I just don't think he's the greatest So
Yeah.
if I had to pick from this list, I mean, I would love for it to be Baker Mayfield or Christian McCaffrey. I do think Christian McCaffrey will stay healthy this season and have a great year. But, or Debbie, could you scroll down a little bit? Nice. Okay. My pick, which doesn't really make Deshaun Watson, no. Okay, here it is. Okay, my pick for comeback player of the year would be Michael Thomas. He hasn't played in 2 seasons, so I think that would like boost his status almost a little more since he hasn't played in 2 full seasons instead of just like 1 like most of these people. But when he was playing, he was a top receiver in the league, so he would just run slants and get a catch and then run. But I think if he just does that again, Jameis Winston just throws him a little slant. I'm not saying he's good, but I think he'll win the award because he just gets a million catches and slants. So
Fair enough.
But yeah, and then Coach of the Year. Actually, just kidding. We're not going to do Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year is boring. Coach of the Year is going to be a tie between Urban Meyer and John Gruden. So
For sure. Looking forward to that one.
yeah, that'll be a fun ceremony. That is all for today's episode of the K&A Football Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. And make sure to share with your friends. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching another episode of K&A Football. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and you can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
If you want to listen to our last video, literally just click our page and go to it. You're already on the page. It's not that hard. Just go find it. Peace.